Hey everybody, welcome back to the last 10-minute Marvel episode of 2024. We will be taking this upcoming week off from podcast. I'll be taking off from videos as well as we celebrate the holidays. So enjoy this episode, and we'll be back in the new year to talk about What If Season 3. But today we have news and rumors and predictions as always. Well, not as always, but news and rumors as always. Predictions for our main topic for what may happen in 2025. And as always, I'm your host who brings you presents, Petter, and the Grinch to my Santa Claus.
Mhm. I'm the one that poops in the gifts, everybody, and then I give them back to Petter. That's what I do. It's Greg, everyone.
Yeah, it's the circle of life.
It, it truly is. It's just the gift that keeps on giving is really what that is.
Yep,
You know, I like to bring a little bit of holiday cheer.
and fiber.
Yeah, and yep, stock up on the fiber just for this time of year for Petter. All right. Well, let's talk about how you can support us, huh? How about that? Uh, because that's a I have no better transition or segue to do that with. So if you're looking for ways to support us, you can find us on our YouTube channel. Search for 10 Minute Marvel. Give us a like and thumb smash that subscribe button. Find us and follow us on Facebook and X, hashtag 10 Minute Marvel there. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. So
Yes.
let's do rumors. Let's
Yes,
do them.
rumors and news. We're going to kick it off here with rumors, and we're going to kick it off with. I think this is one of the things I actually said I wanted Marvel to do a Disney Plus show of, and now there's a rumor for it.
Coincidence? I
Yes,
think
suspect so.
not. Okay.
Well, one of us has more faith in the podcast influencing things.
Uh,
So, Marvel is rumored to be developing a Strange Academy show for Disney Plus. So, if you're not familiar with the Strange Academy comics, that is basically a school that Doctor Strange starts for the magically gifted. And yes, it's uh I enjoyed it quite well. I think I think the idea of a magic school or superhero school, that idea works consistently well. I'm sure there's been some absolute bombs of stuff like that out there that were 10-cent copies of the stuff that's been good, but it is, I feel like, something that works pretty well consistently.
I think it should be about those that are not magically inclined, and Doctor Strange has to teach those kids that just are not good at magic. I think that'd be really funny.
You would get so frustrated.
Right? Uh, there
Yes.
we go. I'm pitching that one. See what happens.
Yeah, so then we have a few different doomsday rumors. First one comes from Daniel RPK that Ana de Armas is rumored to be in talks for a role. Who should she play? And do you know who she is?
I looked this one up. I did look. Now I gotta look up again though.
She's been in things like Blade Runner 2049. She's going to be in the upcoming Ballerina, which is the uh, spin-off movie from John Wick. She was in Knives Out and No Time to Die, just to name a few.
Oh,
And then,
oh. Wait,
yes,
is she 36? I thought for a second there she was one of the female lead in was it House of Dolls? Is that what it's called? Dollhouse. I thought that's what it was.
no,
It's
that's Eliza
different,
Dushku.
equally as attractive, but you're right, that is not the same.
Yes.
They look very close, very similar. Um, sorry, who is she rumored to be?
No, she's just rumored to be in talks for a role.
Oh,
And so,
a role.
yeah, who do you think it could be? Especially
Hmm.
that it's Doomsday, not like a. We'll get to a rumor around X-Men.
Um, and Doomsday.
Could she be like a, what is it, Black Swan? Like that group
Oh,
that,
oh, yeah. Doesn't is it Black Swan that comes to Earth ahead of time, or am I thinking of somebody else?
yeah, Black Swan.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that. If they do that. I was thinking actually Black Widow, and that's what I thought you were about to say, like a alternate universe Black Widow.
Oh, that
Um,
could work too.
or I don't know. Or do they replace Bennett, whatever her name is, with as Quake with her? I don't know.
Chloe Bennett.
Yeah, that's a long
Ah,
shot. I don't know if I like that one.
yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. No, I think Black Widow or Black Swan
Hmm.
could make sense. Like have her be the Black Widow from another universe. Could be interesting. And the other rumor around Doomsday, this one's from the Cosmic Circus, is that Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, Ironheart, and America Chavez will reportedly appear in Doomsday. So, I mean, we're kind of expecting a
Sure.
lot of people to be in Doomsday, it seems
That's
like.
that's what I'm hearing. Like, I mean, it's just everybody's coming.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, it's supposed to be like Infinity War.
yeah. Yeah, is this like the other team? Are they splitting off? Are they doing this team here, this team there kind of thing? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. I don't know. I mean, it's not super shocking.
Yep. So then the X-Men rumor, and this one's from the Inschneider, who and I did a video about this one. Sadie Sink rumored to be playing Jean Grey or the front runner to play Jean Grey in the MCU. And I like this. I know that you had somebody else who you thought maybe instead, which I'd also be fine with.
Hmm.
But do you want to talk about that? I did not talk about who you said in the video that I recorded.
I did watch most of that video, and then as usual, I got interrupted, so I never caught the end of what you said. So I didn't know that you didn't say it. Cool.
Nope.
All right. So, and it's nothing shocking, honestly, but it is I felt that her as Rogue, I felt a little bit more that that was a better matchup. And maybe I'm thinking based on age mostly.
Hmm.
However, if we are talking about if they're thinking of starting X-Men early,
Yeah.
right? Then I'm feeling like, okay, Jean Grey, yep, I can see Sadie Sink doing that and probably crushing it on that. But if they're not, it's not like a I guess first class kind of thing. But you know,
Hmm.
if they're younger, sure,
Hmm.
then that makes sense. But if they're not, then I feel like Rogue is a better. That's where I see her. I think she's
Yeah.
got that spunk that Rogue has and
Yeah.
that
I
drive. So
there definitely is like I mean Max, the character from Stranger Things, definitely has some of that spunk that you see from uh Rogue
mhm.
more consistently in the comics, but also especially in like the animated show and stuff like that. They don't give Jean Grey that much to work with in
Mm.
the animated show. She's just generally like fainting, I believe,
Yeah.
is her primary purpose.
There was like a montage of her just going, oh, oh, like just repeatedly go, oh. She was fainting all
Yes.
the time.
So I think they'll probably try and stay away from that element of it anyways, because that is, I feel like something that is more, well, well, I was going to say more in the animated series, but I think I should say it's more recent, or that's the most recent use of that. In the comics, she's much less of that now. Really ever since Chris Claremont took over writing because he was like, we're not doing anything with this character. She's just kind of there. So let's
This,
turn her
yeah,
into something awesome.
this really what is to be powerful. I mean, not, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would like to see Jean Grey really kind of be more of a sidekick leader to with Scott, I would say, and
Hmm.
Cyclops. And I don't know. I just yeah, I don't want to see her being a backseat driver to all this. I want her to
Yeah.
take control and take charge.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're casting, I mean, they'll get somebody fairly big for Jean Grey anyways, but I mean, if you're casting somebody like Sadie Sink, who does show that spunk with her portrayal of Max, I think that that's probably more of a sign of how they want to portray Jean Grey
Yeah.
in this. And I mean, I made the comment on the video as well. I also like that it sounds like they're looking young.
Hmm.
I don't need First Class revisited or Redux, but to start out with younger heroes and then have them age up and kind of grow with the characters over time sounds great. Versus, okay, we get somebody who's 40 and 10 years from now are they going to want to continue playing this character?
Right.
Can they continue playing this character?
Right. I mean, because, and there's the whole thing with Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Yeah.
I just don't see him sticking around all that much longer. Like
Hmm.
there's been rumors of him like he'll be following into the X-Men mutant saga, and I'm like, I don't know if he will, honestly. Like it, especially if they're going to be looking at 22-year-old actors.
Hmm.
I think that's what Sadie Sink is, right? 22, 25, something like that.
When you?
22, I was right. Um, I get years of people's age right, but I do not know what year it usually is. So, I think that they're based on what they're maybe going for as far as an X-Men team, just tells me that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine's not going to be around as
Hmm.
long as people think,
Yep.
which I'm
Yeah,
okay with.
those rumors always seem to me to have more like fan wish fulfillment on
Yeah.
them than they do like anything substantial to
Yeah.
them.
It was like a whisper of a rumor that, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine would be kind of a mentor to the new Wolverine, whoever that would be, if that would be, X-23 or
Hmm.
whoever. But I'm like, well, then what are you going to have a bunch of young X-Men like Jean Grey and Scott
Yeah.
Summers? Like that doesn't really match up. You have this, I guess Logan is hundreds of years old, so man, maybe that could work, but I still don't really feel like I like it.
No. Yeah, they would have to really be saying, we're gonna step away from Wolverine as a character um, to do that. And that our new Wolverine is going to be X-23. If they want to bring in somebody like Daken, they could as well for another Wolverine type
Mm.
character. But if Hugh Jackman is going to be Wolverine, then yeah, you either have to come up with a reason why you're recasting and it's a new Wolverine, new Logan sometime down the line, probably not in that many years, or you have to say, we're not going to do Logan Wolverine. And I don't see them doing that.
Right. So I think, oh, okay. So I'm thinking ahead of our main topic.
Hmm. So let's talk about all the Spider-Man 4 rumors. Two of them come from the InSchneider. One comes from Spider Culture. Don't know them. And the other one doesn't really have a source that I could spot to it. But let's start out with the two InSchneider ones. And generally, Jeff Snyder, is one of the most accurate scoopers because he spends a good amount of time fact checking stuff, not just like, okay, I think I heard this, let's post it.
I'm
Which
baffled about what this guy did. Like, do you just sit there and you just scour the internet and
I
sure.
think he has contacts in Hollywood and stuff like that. And he also does like Hollywood press type stuff.
Hmm.
So,
So he's a journalist mainly?
yeah, journalist, but a journalist who has made his mark kind of in this specific area of scoops and then his podcast that he has.
Oh, I
And
didn't even know he
like,
had a podcast.
yeah,
I
his
should have.
podcast and I believe a newsletter that are kind of the where
Okay.
stuff shows up.
I should have
Uh,
assumed.
yeah. So first off, that Zendaya will be returning for a smaller role in Spider-Man 4. I That feels right for where we left Peter.
Hmm.
This also somewhat stems from Zendaya's filming schedule for 2025 because I think there's supposed to be another season of Euphoria filming. She's in the Christopher Nolan film that's going to be filming, and I think there's something else.
Is there a
So
Dune movie coming out?
no, well, not not yet.
Not yet.
That
Okay.
they'll be that not yet that would be filming yet. So
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of playing into what we're hearing about maybe a Black Cat,
mhm.
possibly, which you may have had in your rumors or something like that. But it also, if it's also more focused on his character,
Mhm.
then that would make sense. Because what are you gonna like? You gonna have
Yeah.
him like stalk MJ, which is that just makes it weird. I mean,
Yep.
kind of a Sony thing to do, but
Yeah, but Marvel's involved with, or Disney Marvel's involved with this one, so they
yeah,
should be able to catch stuff like that.
could be written in the contract somewhere.
Yeah.
Must be
Uh,
creepy.
yes. The second Ian Schneider one is that the symbiotes are going to be part of the movie as well. So I think that that one is, I mean, that one's an interesting one with the symbiotes. Is that going to mean Venom? Are we going to get multiple symbiotes or Null or Thoughts?
Oh, I think they'll. I don't know if Null's gonna make it. I mean,
Yeah,
and I feel like he's already been edited out. Just feels like the wrong direction,
yeah,
maybe, and just
yeah. I do
cut that
think,
thing off of the head now, right?
yeah.
Rather than, but symbiotes, it does make sense, right, to have Peter go through that, having maybe the black, like the black suit and
The Venom.
Venom, yeah, Venom take over a
Hmm.
little bit, but from what we understand of Venom right now, it's like he's more of a playful kind of
Yeah.
character. So this must be then symbiotes that don't kind of take over him, Spider-Man that is. I don't know.
Yeah, like how much can they ignore Sony's Venom stuff? Because if they can say this is completely separate from that, this is like a different Venom, sure. I kind of like that idea of Peter getting the Venom suit and kind of having it take over and corrupt him based off of gaining power. Like he doesn't have Tony Stark backing him anymore. Nobody knows who he is. He's just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And what happens when a villain is too hard for Spider-Man to deal with? How does he face off against that? How does he deal with it? And is Venom suit going to be a solution for that for him?
But at the same time, I feel like it's already been done.
Yes,
Like
it has.
so are people gonna
But
want
it
to
could
see
be done
that?
better.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Uh, but I think that also then takes away from the struggle that Peter's having. It's too much of like a scapegoat, and he doesn't get to
Hmm.
go through the raw emotion of him having to deal with or choosing to go in the direction of I'm Spider-Man. I'm no longer Peter Parker. I think I'd rather see him deal with it head on
Yeah.
instead of having this kind of symbiote, I guess,
Yeah.
be the reasoning. But
But would it work maybe where he's dealing with it head on and he fails? Like he fails to save somebody, he fails in some way. And then he finds kind of the symbiote and he's like, that's going to be what helps me. But the extra venomness of the whole thing
mm,
like pushes him too far. And it's like to overcome the lack of Tony Stark, the lack of connections and people knowing that he's Peter Parker, he goes too far and then has to come to the realization of no, I have to be happy and fine doing what I can. It's not my job to save the universe. It's not my job to stop every villain everywhere. I need to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
yeah, so he's got to defeat the symbiote somehow, right? And
Hmm.
but I feel like he is going to need to have something to the reason a reason to allow that symbiote to take over.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
right, and
yeah,
that's where I guess Null could come into play.
no, but I mean, there's plenty of other Spider-Man villains that they could use. Like, it just, who's going to be too tough for Spider-Man to take out?
Rematch with Mephisto.
I mean, one of the rumors, this one is the one from Spider Culture, is that Ghost Rider and Mephisto are rumored to be in Spider-Man 4. So, does he, I mean, does he do a, what is it, one more day style deal? But he kind of already, I don't know. It feels like he would have learned his lesson from last time
What?
of like, don't make a deal or don't try to change everything
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
because Mephisto is very much let's make a deal and I'll change something for you. And is he going to be like, oh yeah, let's make a deal and let's change it so that Aunt May is still alive? I mean, that would be very much one more
yeah,
day, but also one more day is, well, then you and MJ forget each other. We already did that. So it
yeah.
feels weird to have Mephisto in there. I don't know where he'd fit.
Yeah, it's a weird place to and to have. Well, I guess he's possibly going to be in Ironheart, but I mean, it does seem like kind of an odd place for him to show up.
Hmm. And especially like he won't be the villain. I don't see him being a villain that Peter would need to get symbiote help for.
Right. He-
Mephisto's a villain that you need to trick, not beat up.
for the Mephisto is the villain you need to trick. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like for the suit to have the
Hmm.
symbiote. Yeah, I would agree with that. And if you're gonna go with the Venom style, it's somebody that you need to overpower
Yes.
brute force wise. So, hmm, I don't know, man.
Yeah, there's
Let's move
not,
on. I
yeah,
can't even think of it. I can't.
there's nobody where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a character that makes good sense to like a villain. I'm thinking off of the top of my head where I'm just like, oh yeah, this villain for sure he'd need that for, unless you do a Sinister Six team up of villains, which we kind of had already, or we get Carnage or
Carnage to
something like,
return? Yeah,
yeah,
like
not return, but like a Carnage to show up. But even that seems real weird.
yeah. I don't know.
So the final Spider-Man 4 rumor, and this is the one without the source, is that Anya Taylor-Joy is being eyed for a role in Spider-Man 4. Black Cat?
That would be my guess.
All right.
I kind of like actually. I think that's a pretty sweet fit, honestly.
I think it's an okay fit.
Kind of seductive, kind of like
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about Anya Taylor-Joy's seductive that doesn't feel as Black Cat like as like a Sydney Sweeney would.
hmm.
It'd be a different type of thing, and it might just be kind of my understanding and expectation of the character based off of the 90s cartoon. So it's it could work very well as well.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a wrong perspective either, because that's
Hmm.
what a lot of people have, right? That's
Yeah.
I have a lot of perspective off of the X-Men 97 thing. It's like I'm expecting Rogue to behave more like that than maybe what happens more in the comics and stuff like, which are not probably that far apart at times, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's really hard to separate what we know and then being able to say, but it could work this way.
Yeah.
So then the news, first off, if you're listening to this, the first episode, possibly the second episode of What If are already out. Greg, that was a phenomenal first episode, wasn't it?
It actually was because I watched it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, sucker.
I will,
Um,
I'm not sure when I'll actually get to it, but I'll probably binge watch a whole lot after coming back from the holidays.
Um, it was, yeah. I debated whether I wanted to watch it, and I knew we weren't really going to talk about it on this podcast, on this episode, anyways. But I was kind of just doing dishes around the house today, and I'm like, the house was it was just me. I'm like, okay, I'm in, I'm doing it, and so I had to watch it.
That
Um,
is fair.
Yep. So I will just keep my comments to myself, and we will discuss at another time.
Yes, 2 weeks from now.
Uh-huh.
So the next thing is Brad Winderbaum on, I forget what podcast it was, not Marvel's official one, but a different one. I'm not even sure how this came up in conversation, but basically said or about Jeff the Land Shark that yes, that is a character who could pop up in the MCU. You know, the traditional, oh yes, we expect to see Jeff the Land Shark.
I feel like that it's a missed opportunity for Deadpool and Wolverine, honestly. That's where I see that.
It's also a character that hangs out with like Kate Bishop at times. So I guess yeah, have Kate Bishop and Jeff the Landshark chill with Pizza Dog.
Well, there you go. This pizza dog just constantly trying to gnaw on Jeff the shark, whatever his name is.
Jeff the Landshark.
And he can't break. Yeah, sorry. It's a fun image in my head. Um,
Fair.
What? Why? What are they doing with Jeff the Land Shark? Like, obviously, it's a fun idea,
Hmm.
but pretty left field for me. Like,
Oh,
far left
super
field.
left field. Yeah.
Like, I'm still walking into the stadium kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, no, that would be a pretty wild one out there.
I see it'd be like an kids animated cartoon thing, but
Yeah, or What If
or
would have
what
been a
if?
perfect spot for it. Or,
Ooh,
I mean, even like, sure, why not Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? Marvel Zombies, have Jeff the Land Shark be a zombie, or one of the survivors.
does he come out of water? I don't know anything about this character.
Yes, he's a shark that walks on land.
So he's like
Hence,
Jabberjaw. Wow, that's really old. That's like a Hanna-Barbera. Nobody's gonna recognize that reference. Like a who's the shark in DC? Uh,
oh,
King Shark?
yeah, whatever it
King,
is. Yeah.
yeah. But he's not mean like that. He seems
Hmm.
very friendly. He's got a big smile
Oh,
on his
super
face.
friendly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that one I was just like, okay, somebody wanted to know about Jeff the Land Shark, so they asked. Next up,
Wait, I just have this image. If you've seen Saturday Night Live, like some of the old episodes where they have the shark that comes to the door and just goes Candygram, and then like, and it's like the person's just supposed to like open the door and then the shark eats them. It is a missed opportunity in Deadpool Wolverine because he could have gone to the that door, like he's at his birthday party, right? There's a knock at the door, and you just get that reenactment of that scene and just Candygram, and then he opens the door, it's Jeff the Shark, and then he just
yes.
tells them to go away, and then another knock at the door, opens the door, then it's a TVA.
Yep.
Missed opportunity.
Yes. So, next one is that
Oh, you
Bob,
don't want to talk about that anymore?
nope,
Fair enough.
Bob Persichetti and Justin K. Thompson are set to direct Beyond the Spider-Verse. So,
Sweet.
I mean, yeah, there are directors for it now. It's, I think I've talked about it last week with it was always happening. It just all this stuff takes way longer than especially Sony.
Hmm.
So, I'm sure they've probably animated a chunk of it, and now they're just getting to the point where they're going to be doing voice direction.
Yeah.
And the final one, Ed Bernero, is set to be the showrunner for Nova. So Ed Bernero show ran, produced on Criminal Minds, and
Like Vincent D'Onofrio, Criminal Minds?
no, the TV show.
Yeah, wasn't that
Is that
Vincent
Vincent?
D'Onofrio?
I have no idea. Never watched it. And he also did like Third Watch, Crossing Lines, Criminal Minds, Suspect Behavior. So, I mean, they're getting a TV producer
Nope,
to do
I'm wrong.
this.
Yeah, and for Nova, is it what what if is that his thing though? Is that showrunner, whatever the dude's name he said, is that his thing? Like kind of the dark drama.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to really be what he's done with like Criminal Minds, Third Watch about New York City police officers, firefighters, and
Uh,
paramedics in the fictional 55th precinct. So
hmm.
yeah, it seems like all his stuff is kind of that cop drama type of thing.
So a little bit more gritty. Are we thinking for Nova?
It sounds, I mean, first off, this sounds like Richard Rider Nova, not Sam Alexander Nova.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I suspect that's going to be the case. Maybe a little bit more gritty, like
Like a Blade Runner kind of gritty, like
maybe post Xandar being destroyed.
yeah, I'm kind of liking that.
Like he's out there maybe on his own trying to still do the work of the Nova Corps, but obviously it's he's one person and so he can't really do that and he can't truly get revenge on the person who did it because the Avengers took out Thanos. So
You think think it'd be that far, like that far reaching, or are they gonna keep it more tightly knit inside of Xandar and like, is it like a government overthrow kind of thing, or he's trying to figure
I
out
think it's I would lean towards farther reaching just because it doesn't
like he's going
if
after like, well, he can't go like he said he can't go after Thanos, but
right, he can't go after Thanos, and so I think that he's probably like he might be a situation where it's like, okay, he has a chip on his shoulder. He's mad that he can't get revenge for what happened on Xandar, and he's also like stretched too thin just as a person trying to do the work of the Nova Corps all by himself and just kind of
but
that
so,
breaking point and that idea. kind of pushing that and what that means for him.
I might have to read some of those comics a little bit just to get some sort of
Hmm. I mean,
idea or like, come up with some theories.
yeah, I would recommend reading like Annihilation with
Yeah,
Annihilus because he's one of the main characters in that and does a pretty good job of showing how he's kind of a dick. So
nice. Like a Dick Detective, Dick,
like
like a Dick Tracy,
yes,
like
no,
just a dick. Got
just
it.
a dick. Yeah. So that's it for the news and rumors. Let's talk predictions here. Greg, you have a few, I have a few. Um, and why don't I kick us off?
Yes, please.
So the first one is I think that we hear official like confirmation of Sony trying to sell Spider-Man and that things are in the works.
Interesting. Okay. I I had a prediction that we would hear about this, um, but it's not happening in 2025. I think
I
that's what
don't
I was
think
thinking.
Yeah, I don't think it can be completed in 2025. Like a deal this big, uh, there's just there's going to be legal bodies like that have to say yes, this is acceptable, and it's not creating a monopoly. And I mean, just the amount of money that will be involved with this, because I think on my video when I was talking about it, 20th Century Fox sold for 21 billion or so. And obviously that's the whole studio, including X-Men and Fantastic Four. Sony's not going to sell everything to Disney. But what, 8 billion? 9 billion? 10 billion? What's that number for that? And I mean, with 20th Century Fox's sale, Comcast was in on that to try and buy it. So is there going to be another company like an Amazon or a Comcast who looks at it and goes, "We want in on this bidding too"? There, I mean, for sure there's going to be. So it's just going to be a question of how high can they push Disney to go? Because I don't know that Disney's going to let it get away if it does, like go up for
That is
sale.
those numbers absolutely blow my mind. Um,
Yes, yes, they should.
I didn't even think about a different bidder coming in, right? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, and I'm sure Sony's like, yeah, come on in, like, hey, bump it up. We
Yep.
may not give it to you, but it's sure going to increase the
Yeah.
our our return on this.
Hmm. I mean, and it's so many characters, kind of in that Spider-Man Rogues Gallery and other Spider characters that why wouldn't another company try and do it? Because they can see what Sony was trying to do, and they could just be like, all right, well, we're not going to play ball with Disney, and we're not going to share Spider-Man after this. So why not let's just bring it in and we can create our own Spider-Man universe. And we have lots of comics and stories to pull from. And Spider-Man's out of the MCU, which is probably
That
why Marvel would pony up a lot of money.
right. You'd think they'd be able to work out some deal like just between each other, or is that like some sort of there's a legality in that where they can't? Like it's
Um,
just talks between two companies.
yeah, I don't think
I mean, wouldn't Marvel
even
be
with it.
like, we will give you this insane amount of money
Mhm.
as long as you keep it between us and there's no other bidders that can come in. But maybe there's
Potential.
legals.
There
So,
might be legal reasons for that, and also I don't think that would ever be in Sony's best interest to do that because
oh no,
if
it'd be totally
Mar
in Marvel's best interest, I'm saying. But
yes. Yeah, so Sony would just never, I don't think even consider something like that because
if they if Marvel's like, we will give you $100 billion,
right. Okay.
to just be like, you don't let this stays between you and us.
Even then, I mean obviously that's such an absurd number that who knows, but at that point in time it doesn't matter because Comcast and Amazon would be like, "No. We don't want to bid against 100 billion or whatever." So sure, Disney could throw out an initial bid that's so high it chases everybody out without even having exclusivity to it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking
And
that it would be we will give you this, but the deal is between you and us, you and
Right.
right.
Yeah, but like I was saying, it's we'll give you this. If it's a high enough number, nobody else is even going to enter the fray.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the idea of Marvel saying or Disney saying that I don't think buys them anything either direction. And I don't think it would make a deal happen any faster.
Could you imagine if Comcast took Spider-Man? God, that's like terrible. That's what would they do with that? Like what in their right mind do they I guess they own a lot of other things. It's not just
Yes,
I'm thinking of my cable company, right? But it's not
right,
just comp.
right.
Still.
Yeah. So it would be obviously it would tie into and it would be money for a whole lot of I mean it's whatever studios uh Comcast owns. I forget who all they own. Do they own Universal? They
I
might.
yeah, I don't know.
So, but either way, I think that both of us are kind of on the same page there with it's likely that we could have confirmation that they're trying to sell and that stuff is being worked on.
Yeah, I was trying to find like, is there any more out on this? And it's just, I mean, there's some good scoopers that have, said that this is a thing. Oh man, it's just, I feel like that day that we had been wishing for was so far away, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that
Yeah.
might be happening.
Yeah,
It's just, it's hard for me to believe. Like
mhm.
I'm kind of like in denial about it, right?
Yeah. And did you watch my video on
5 times.
Sweet? So you're able to tell it all in great
Don't
detail.
don't do that to me. You know I'm shy about that kind of stuff.
So no, it's more so that like right now Craven is at 42 million worldwide, and I mean that's bad. That's horrible
Yeah.
in terms of they'll be lucky to get. I was thinking initially 50 million, but now seeing what it did the second weekend, I could see it being I don't know, 60, 70 million, but that's 50 million under the budget. And of course, that's not accounting for the marketing budget, which is probably 100 million again. So, like, Sony could end up losing 200 plus million on this.
Oh, well, they did it to themselves.
Yes, they did. Um, so, I mean, for that reason, I'm kind of hopeful that there's a Sony XX somewhere where it's just like, we have to stop losing money on this. I, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think, I mean, Morbius can't have made money. I don't think Madam Web can't have made money.
Right. So how much more do they want to like put themselves through? Like
Hmm.
they're just, it's not working. So
Yes, Spider-Verse is making them money. Venom movies have made them money, but anything beyond that, I'm pretty sure has lost.
I wonder if Spider-Verse does that included in the deal?
I would think so.
Right? Because I mean,
Which,
it's a lot of Spider-Man characters in there, but,
mhm.
um, that one I'm kind of like, can we just at least pull the animation people over with it too and give them,
Well, I think it would be something where, as part of the deal, Sony gets to complete their Spider-Verse
yeah.
trilogy.
Oh yeah. And I'm okay with that. They're doing a good job with that. I'm enjoying it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Why don't I do another prediction here? I think, which one do I want to go with next here? I think we get the second season of multiple Disney Plus shows announced this year.
Oh,
I think two.
can I guess?
Sure, because that's,
Hawkeye.
yeah.
And ooh, are you gonna do She-Hulk or Moon Knight? Or am I not right on either? She-Hulk, Moon Knight? No?
No, I mean,
Oh, Ms. Marvel.
well, I didn't actually write down the
Oh,
particulars of these because I think there are three shows that could have that. And I held three fingers up to the camera like people after the fact are going to be able to see this. But I
I understood.
think, yeah, I think that Moon Knight, Hawkeye, and Miss Marvel, they probably could look at those and go, we want to do another season.
Hmm.
And in particular, I do think you're right with Moon Knight and with Hawkeye. Those are probably the easiest to do an additional season of, though they might get a better bang for their buck in terms of building for like a Champions or something like that by doing a second season of Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I think uh Hawkeye season two, I mean, I think that'd be fun and great. But I think Kate Bishop kind of is moving on,
Hmm.
and Hawkeye isn't really as relevant anymore. And I don't doubt they could write a good story, and it would be probably the cheaper way to go on things. But I think that one could be the one that would fall off first if I was to kind of be a betting person. Um, I could see Moon Knight going ahead for sure, but Ms. Marvel is one that, I mean, yeah, with the Vellani, why wouldn't you do? But
Hmm.
and it got good, not
Generally, yeah.
reviews, but it
But yeah,
got the acceptance was there, right? Like people liked it.
yes.
So yeah, I can see that. I can see some of that coming in. Um, so on that note, I
Hmm.
said, since we still are missing two projects, there's two movies. I think we will have those filled in 2025.
Yeah. You thinking we're gonna get both like San Diego Comic-Con or D23?
D25?
Five.
Yes. I do. I think that they need to fill those up. They got to get those a decision made and they're going
Yeah.
to announce and because it's got to happen in 2026 or
What? Yeah, one has to film in 2026, the other has to film in 2027, or does one still have to film in 2025?
I think one has to film in 2025, doesn't it? To get
Yep.
to
Yeah.
so
So I feel like that's a fairly safe bet we're going to
it's a
get at
safe
least
one.
one. Yes.
Yeah, I had to put that in there just in case
Hmm.
my other two or three bombed. And I
Hmm.
was way off the mark. So
Yeah.
that's my safe bet. Yeah.
Yeah. I did
Um,
say I think that Doctor Strange 3 could be the one that's announced with like Doctor Strange 3 at San Diego Comic-Con with DJ announced as one of the characters or actors.
yeah. I had uh, I was kind of like, is it going to be like a Shang-Chi? And then we got, I think Spider-Man's kind of a pretty much a safe bet at this point. I
Oh,
feel like
no,
that's going to,
Spider-Man is filming in 2025. Also, Spider-Man is announced by Sony, not by.
oh, that's right. That's
And so
right.
that's a completely separate slot than one of the
Yeah.
open slots.
Okay. So then Doctor Strange for sure. Could you do a Doctor Strange and Shang-Chi together? Is there a way that they could make that work? The Ten Rings.
It would have to be Ten Rings related.
Yeah. And then you got to figure out what Clea and Doctor Strange are doing. But
Well,
I don't know if
and
they want to mix
that
those up or not.
that would
I just
still
don't.
have to be Ten Rings related in that something about those rings is influencing the multiverse and incursions and stuff like that. And so it all ties into what Shang-Chi and Clea, or Doctor Strange and Clea are doing, tie Shang-Chi in with that.
Yeah. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Sling Rings. Sling Rings. Sorry. Tried to come up with a good title there. Failed, obviously.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Hard
So
fail.
yeah,
I
big
mean,
one. Fell in the face. So yeah, I feel like those have to be released. So not a super huge, shocking prediction there, but
yeah, I have my final two might be slightly related. Do you have any more to go with?
I have one. I think I'm gonna skip. I had a fourth, but it's kind of an obvious one as well. So I think I will just say if you want me to do my
Yeah,
third prediction,
yeah.
I think we're gonna have 2025 is gonna see one of the three movies not be very well received.
Hmm.
It's kind of a, I'm kind of, I just feel like one of them's gonna not tank,
Hmm.
but it's just gonna miss the mark and there's gonna be some backlash on it.
Probably Captain America: Brave New World because that one's already going to have built-in backlash for it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
it's going to be there are people who are going to go into who are not going to see it because of the built-in backlash already, much like they did with the Marvels. There are going to be people who go into it because of looking for any flaw to be able to say, yeah, we were right, much like people did with the Marvels. And then there are going to be people like us who go in and probably enjoy the hell out of it,
right.
much like the Marvels.
I don't mean to be so sour about it and
Mhm.
on that note, but it just I don't know. I was trying to think of a prediction that was kind of going against the grain a little bit. I just think that that is very much a possibility, and that's like you said, it's just that's kind of the way people are seeing this movie, and they've kind of maybe have already made their own minds up about it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's fair, and that's going to happen. But
Oh, I would say that's unfair, but that's going to happen because that's how it happens for everything at this
yeah,
point. And people who watch and want to watch these movies because they like these movies need to be able to understand the signs to look for when somebody slams something to understand the reason why they are slamming it. And most of the time, they're fairly obvious about it, but there is a certain insidious group within that is smarter with how they're handling it instead of just being like, let's bash it for reasons that I'm not going to vocalize the reasons here because just it's obvious. Uh, but there are some who are more insidious and sneaky about it and try and cover up what they're doing to bash it. And
yeah,
so it's as fans who enjoy it and go into a Marvel project with an open mind, when you look at reviews, when you look at the negative feedback, or yeah, not even, I can barely even call it feedback, really. When you look at the negative trolling for it, uh, understand what that is, why it is, and where it's coming from, versus and separate that from how you view the movies, basically.
yeah. I hate to put that out there like that, but
Hmm.
it also then like kind of by what you just said makes me feel like I need to go watch Craven in the movie theaters because I'm feeling bad about bashing or saying things about it when I haven't even seen it yet. And
Yeah.
there are things that are actually, I guess, pretty okay about it.
Hmm.
But
Now, generally, it's been panned across the board, critic-wise. It's not like I'm sure with Captain America: Brave New World, there'll be a time where we have the option of in our news talking about review bombing. That's not the case with Craven. Like, the audience score is higher, notably higher. That's normal when critics are negative on something, but the critical score is horrible. And yeah, the box office numbers speak for itself
hmm,
because we're not speaking when we talk about Craven, we never actually talk about details of the movie. I talk about the finances of it. So we do try, and we have not offered an opinion on the Craven movie itself yet. So
so I don't feel as bad.
yes. So my
Good.
final two, and there might be a little bit of overlap between these two, but I think we get the casting of a couple X-Men characters, and I think in particular it might be Xavier and Magneto for the filming of the upcoming project for not for Doomsday, but bring them out on stage at D25 or uh, San Diego Comic-Con. Those two characters.
Oh, I'm what? Oh, I'm
Or
just
do they
thinking, do
wait a
they?
year?
I'm not, well, I think I'm more focused on will they actually use Magneto? I can see Xavier it could happen for sure, but I just wondering if Magneto would. Either way, um I just it feels like it might be a little bit too soon. They've got time, right?
Not much. Not if they're going to. It depends on what they have to introduce too, because like we're saying, they have to film. They're filming Doomsday. They have to film the other movie for 2026 next year, and we don't know what that's going to be. So there's probably going to be something like that, but beyond that, you're looking ahead to 2027, and what are you looking for? You're looking to be see who's going to be in Battle World, and that's probably going to be where you introduce your at least a couple of X-Men figures.
Could
We're
it
going to stick.
be like X-Men figures that maybe have already been X-Men? Or are we thinking like from here on out, this is Magneto into the Mutant Saga or X-Men Saga, whatever you want to call it,
I think. I mean, I could see them doing a hey, and here's Ian McKellen,
right?
here's Michael Fassbender, and here's so and so, the new Magneto, who will all be featuring in Secret Wars.
I almost feel like that could be. I could, yes. Part of me is also thinking they may want to wait and see. Oh, that's way too soon or way too late, though. I'm thinking they may want to wait until after they kind of get some feedback from what happens in Secret Wars, or at least Doomsday, before they
But
start. But it makes it's
that's way
almost like
too
it's too
late.
late. Yeah.
And while I do think they're going to give kind of a send off to some of the X-Men characters in Secret Wars, you have to be hitting the ground running after that. Like we talked, I think previously about how I think there's a chance, like a Secret Wars post-credit trailer is you get to see Xavier's School for Gifted Children and meet the cast for the upcoming X-Men, something like that. But I do think with a couple of those characters, at least, probably most of them, you're gonna announce them ahead of time. There's no way with a recurring cast that you could hide all of that. I mean, they didn't hide a ton of they hid Gambit and they hid X-23 and they hid Blade, but we knew Elektra and X-23 and Blade were highly rumored, and people expected those characters to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. So, like, the only one they truly hid was Gambit,
Hmm.
which means, like, yeah, are they going to do that with a full team? So, I think they may get out in front of it and announce a couple of them, get them on stage, get those two characters out in front of people and answering questions, and then they can maybe sprinkle in a few surprise other characters later. But then the other part of this, separate from it, because I don't actually specify who, but I think that two additional Stranger Things alumni will join the MCU.
Hmm.
Whether in announced roles or not, I think we'll hear that now that Stranger Things has finished filming and is going to be having its final season in 2025, we're going to hear that a couple of the actors are announced for the MCU. Sadie Sink, Jean Grey, potentially being one of them. I'm not sure who else.
Who do we thought maybe for Nightcrawler was what's that actor's name? I want to say it's like Wolf.
Ben
It's
Wolfhard?
yeah.
Hmm.
I think I may have said that, or we
Yeah, you
talked
said
about
that a
him as an
while back.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be a third cast member then from Stranger Things.
Hmm. But it makes sense to pull from there as they're wrapping up, and they're all similar ages. So if you're looking to bring in some characters, like could you have trying to think who else, but could you have Noah Schnapp or Schnapp, who plays Will Byers, could you have him play like an Iceman?
Hmm. Maybe. Yeah.
Joe Keery as a new Quicksilver.
He's kind of got the hair for it, that's for
Hmm.
sure.
Well, and he has kind of like the what why am I blanking on Ralph Boner, Evan Peters. Evan Peters Quicksilver kind of had that like the cockiness to it,
Hmm.
and Joe Keery can play that as well. So I think that could be an option. That you're actually wrong. That would be if there are two more added, that would be a fourth.
Wait, so because David Harbour.
Yep.
Forgot about David Harbour. Okay.
I wasn't sure which one you were forgetting, David Harbour or Joseph Quinn.
Oh, I could see I was thinking that Maya Hawke, who plays Robin, she could fit there somewhere. Charlie Heaton, minus his crack problem, he'd have been a good morph.
Hmm.
Um,
Dayton Matazzaro as Glob Herman.
wait,
Just voicing Glob Herman could be
I
hilarious.
I kind of do like that. I do like that. I'm trying to think of Caleb McLaughlin. Like who could he
Darwin?
Darwin? Can you make him like Banshee or something like that? I don't know.
I mean, that could be cool.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Freya Ferguson. She's pretty great.
Hmm.
Just kind of, ooh, Maker's Jubilee. Um, yeah. There's what about who are the brothers? What are the producers, directors?
Russo's?
The Roos they do it? No, no, no. Do
I'm
they?
confused.
Who produces it?
Produces what?
Is that
Oh,
the Stranger Things?
Duffers.
Duffer Brothers. God, I knew it.
Yes.
Pull them in for like well, I would say the champions, but I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Like if kind of that nostalgia a little bit, but I could also see him doing a young X-Men, like kind of where we're talking.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's almost a little bit too much Stranger Things coming over, but the thing is, it kind of worked well,
Mhm.
right? So, interesting. It's a good prediction.
Yeah, I have no idea if that one would even be possible, but or like that one's definitely a stretch of a prediction, I should say.
I could see it being pretty likely if season five or whatever they're on does well. If it really
Hmm.
ends well and they pull it together and it's solid, because it's been what, 3 years since 4 years since the last one?
3 years, I
Feels like
think. Yeah.
feels like forever.
Hmm.
So if they knock this out of the park, I could see them, being looked at,
Hmm.
whether it be the Duffer Brothers or the actors themselves. So.
Hmm. Trying to think who Dockery Montgomery could play. He's Billy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Angel, actually.
Ooh, Angel, Archangel.
Yeah. Oh, he would be
That
a good
could be
Archangel.
that could
Yeah.
be real good. All right, Marvel. You heard it here first.
There it is.
Come, use our ideas, please. This one sounds good.
Yeah.
This one sounds
Not all of
fun.
our ideas. Mine are usually bad, but this one's really good.
Yeah. So let us know your predictions for 2025. Who is going to show up where? What is Marvel going to announce? What movie is going to be the biggest hit? I will say we got 8 votes again, and uh, 25% for one movie, 75% for the other movie for most anticipated, 0% for the third one.
Oh.
Which one got 0%, Greg?
0% votes got was mm, yeah, probably Captain.
Thunderbolts.
What? Really?
Hmm.
Nobody's
0%
hmm.
Thunderbolts, 25% Captain America. Now,
It's the
Captain
Hulk.
America has Red Hulk, yep,
Yeah.
and it has Sam Wilson, an existing character who we've spent a chunk of time.
Yeah.
Whereas Thunderbolts is is more out there.
Yeah. It's yes. But yeah, I can see that. I can understand why people would lean that way for
Hmm.
sure. At least one vote out of the eight.
Yeah,
I should have voted for it.
yeah.
Dang it. Well,
Of course, 75% then for Fantastic Four first
oh
steps.
yeah, because it looks amazing. It's gonna
Yep.
be good. It doesn't look like anything. I really haven't seen
Mhm.
much of anything of it. I'm just
Mhm.
thinking, I don't
What
know.
we
I just
know sounds great.
yeah, where their heads at. It's great.
Mhm. So, with that, thank you everybody for another great year of 10 Minute Marvel, for helping grow the YouTube channel and checking out the videos that we're putting out. And we will be back with not really a vengeance, but we will be back in the new year to talk about What If Season 3, the final season of What If, and rank those episodes from, what is it, 8 episodes?
I think
So
so. Yeah, watch them, and
eight
then
to one.
Petter will
Yes.
do a vote. We'll vote when we get back after we've
Yes.
talked about them. And
We'll have a vote for fans' favorites, um, but we'll also talk about them and rank them ourselves. We do appreciate everybody who listens, like I said, and we hope that you all have a wonderful holiday. Greg gave a few ways you could help support the podcast at the beginning, but we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast as well as the Multi Mutuals YouTube channel, nerdologist.com YouTube channel, or nerdologist.com, and the 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel. But with that, we'll see you next year.
happy holidays, everybody. Take care.